Here from Liam Plays Crypto on Twitter. I believe I reposted this on my Twitter as well, but they're saying that spot ETFs for Bitcoin and Ethereum have seen substantial outflows for 2 consecutive days. BlackRock has sold off $432 million worth of crypto here, and here's what it looks like here for Ethereum on December 15th. BlackRock, right? BlackRock's ETF with Ethereum, they sold off $139 million on December 15th, which was 2 days ago. And then they sold off another $221 million of Ethereum yesterday. Okay? And that was just Ethereum. Never mind what they did here with Bitcoin. Here on Bitcoin, BlackRock's IBIT ETF here, they sold $210 million worth of Bitcoin yesterday. And when they sell that Bitcoin and Ethereum, they have to put it on the on Coinbase. That's their institutional custodian. They got to put it on Coinbase, and then they send it to Coinbase, and then Coinbase sells it for them. But yeah, that's one of the reasons why we're having a tough go at trying to go up to higher prices here. We only went up to like 90K earlier this morning, which kind of caught, I think, a lot of people off guard. But it was a level. If you guys were here in my last live stream yesterday, I did say I could see Bitcoin going up to 90K, anywhere between 89 to 90K in the next 24 hours, and that's exactly what it did here before it violently got sold off. Looks like the shorts decided to come in and play at these levels here. Now let me get back into the charts here. I'll try to show you guys what I saw here on the 1 hour time frame here for Bitcoin. That might have led some short sellers to decide that they were gonna short Bitcoin earlier this morning, and it's not really, you know, we have had some candles that have played out here, you know, up to the upside a little bit more, but I think this is what I saw the bears eyeballing earlier this morning, and that was a little bit of some hidden bearish divergence here. If I pull up the indicators here, let me get that RSI going here real quick. All right, so we got the RSI here, and this is what I saw with Bitcoin here. Okay, so with Bitcoin on the 1 hour time frame, we were making a higher high here on the RSI. However, we were pretty much playing around with making lower highs here on the price of Bitcoin, and just forget about this red candle here that kind of spiked up. Okay, but at the time earlier this morning, right, we had the price of Bitcoin climbing up here, and it wasn't quite looking like it was going to make a higher high here on the price. Okay, and we actually had a lower high here momentarily. I mean, it did go a little bit higher, but momentarily we did have a lower high here compared to what we were seeing here on Monday, and we had a higher high on the price. That is actually hidden bearish divergence. I think that played out. I think the bears saw that. We did also got overbought here on the 1 hour time frame at 72 on the RSI, and some bears decided to take it and run with it. And maybe there might have been some leveraged longs that got a little bit excited, including myself. I did sell some of my Bitcoin longs, but I actually opened up a Zcash long earlier this morning, and a long on CoAI that got stopped out on my CoAI long, and then my Zcash long, I decided to flip it into a short when I saw this nasty, candle just come in and just take all this price action that we tried to gain to the upside this morning just got invalidated and rejected, as we actually ended up making some lower lows here compared to what we started off here earlier this morning. So that's no bueno. However, Bitcoin did remain above 85,000, basically 85K level here. 85K is sort of a level that we are trying to pay attention to, because if I go to the daily time frame, I mean, we did get down to like around $85,000, $85,200 here yesterday. So looks like the bulls decided to defend that level for now. Okay. However, I think we could still see Bitcoin come down to like about 84K. I wouldn't really say 84, anything less than 84K, because we did see a higher low get formed here on December 1st at 83,800. That is an area where you know, we could come down to 84K, bounce off at 84K to higher prices, and that would still qualify as a higher low. Now we're trying to make the higher low near 85K. And I know we had somebody in my Discord saying that 85K is, you know, where it could be a nice juicy short if we lose 85K. But I think if we actually come down, we could actually come down to 84K, still bounce up and actually make a higher low before we really have to worry about Bitcoin falling off the edge of a cliff here. I think if we lose this higher low here at 83,800, then yeah, I think Bitcoin's gonna fall off a cliff. I don't know if how strong 80K is going to hold here. Okay, you know, we went down to 80,500 on November 21st. We didn't really, you know, test it to see if there's any support. It's just a candle wick low down there. Okay, but yeah, you can see that, you know, we are trying to stay above 85K, and I think we can even stay above 84K and still be okay for being optimistic on Bitcoin and crypto. Okay, it's not completely game over until we lose 84K, in my opinion. Okay, let me go ahead and turn the VRVP indicator here, and you'll see you know, the levels to be looking out for here, as we always do with the VRVP indicator here. But there is a high volume node level here at like 83,900, 84,000. So that's why I think, you know, 84K could be our last line of defense before the longs completely lose it, before the bulls completely lose control. And then the bears take over and bring us down to lower prices. And if they do bring us down to lower prices, I think we could come down to this value area low here at 75K, 76K, somewhere in that area. There is a little bit of a fight here near 78K and 79K, but that's not as significant as coming down to like 76K, because 76K is an area that we were like trading at back here in March and April. You would think that the people here that bought here in April at 76K, they'll still be at break even if we go down to 76K. If we lose 76K, then they're probably going to click the sell button themselves. Okay. But anyways, let me see what you guys say in the chat here, and then we'll try to get into that request for DZ. D2 Miami wants to look at ZBCM. We haven't looked at that one in a while. Thank you for that request. Let me go ahead and write that down here. We're going to look at Hyper first. That's Hyper Liquid, right? Just to confirm that with you, DZ. And then we got to look at ZBCN here. Let me see what else we got here for likes here. I mean, for requests. I think that's going to be it for now. I'll turn the volume up a little bit on my end. All right, so yeah, that's those are the requests for now. I didn't really give an upside target for Bitcoin, but you know, just going back to the VRVP here one more time. You know, I'm still looking for Bitcoin to get up to that 96K level, which is going to be a tough level for Bitcoin to get past. If we do get past there, this is where I'm expecting either a violent rejection or we just trade sideways at 96K. But I believe 96K is going to be a tough level for Bitcoin to get past, especially since we're having a tough go just trying to get up there in the first place. We've only went as high as like 94,000, 94,500 one of these days here. And of course, you know, right now Bitcoin at 85K, we do have a high volume node here at 91K, 91,700. Okay, that's another area that's going to be a little bit tough for Bitcoin to reclaim. But we got to get up there, and we got to get up there sooner rather than later, or else the bears are going to just take this and run with it and say that this right here is a lower high, and now we're going to be heading down to be making lower lows at some point. We do not want the bears to actually win that argument here. We want to start making another higher high and get past, you know, 94,600. Okay. However, if we're not able to, then this ends up being a lower high, and the bears are going to push us down into like probably 70K at some point here. But let's move on from Bitcoin. I just gave you the targets to the upside, downside. We're looking for 91K short term, and then 96K to the upside. Downside, we're looking to see if Bitcoin's going to hold 84K. If not, we could come down to 80K, but I don't think that's going to hold up. We most likely will go down to like 76K. Okay. But anyways, let's move on from Bitcoin. We'll take a look at Hyper. Hyperliquid. Okay. We're looking at Hyperliquid, currently trading at $24.82. I'm just going to keep the VFRP indicator on. Why not? Okay. And I'm going to try to gather the data going all the way back to March of earlier this year, where Hyperliquid started trading on MEXC exchange. And Hyperliquid, what are you doing here, bro? You are below the value area low, which means you're below the value area altogether. The value area being this white line and this other white line. This is the value area low, value area high, okay? And you are below all this range that you've been in all throughout 2025. Now you're what? You're gonna what? Create another range for us to go down to? There's not really much for Hyperliquid to the downside here. There's not much support because, you know, back here in April and May, you didn't really go sideways. You didn't trade sideways. You're just going up and up and up and to the right here. So there's not that much support for Hyperliquid down below. We could go straight down just as fast as we went up back in April, okay? And if that's the case, then, you know, what? Then we might have to revisit the lows here at like $9 here for Hyperliquid. That's going to be very brutal, especially since Hyperliquid was looking so damn bullish all throughout this past year here, okay? Up all the way up until like September, before Hyperliquid started making lower highs, and of course making lower lows to put us into a downtrend here. So what can I say for Hyperliquid here? If we are gonna just out of nowhere just bounce for some reason and go to higher prices, there's gonna be a tough area for us to get past. We're gonna have to get past this value area low and this high volume node sitting at like $29 and $30 here. Okay, then we got another high volume node to get past, which is the $34.60 level here. And then of course, going back up to the point of control where the majority of people bought Hyperliquid, where this blue line is sitting at like $39. Okay, you see that $39 is an area that, for the most part, a good majority of people bought Hyperliquid over the last 6 months now. Okay, that's going to be your upside target if you're swing trading this. $39 is going to be probably the area where you want to click the sell button, because I can bet you this, you know, everybody that bought Hyperliquid at $39 right now, they're underwater. If we actually get up to $39, they'll be break even, and there's going to be some people that are going to give up on Hyperliquid and actually hit the sell button when it gets back up to $39. So that's where I think a swing trade, you know, long could be a good take profit target here at $39 for Hyperliquid. Let me go ahead and throw in the moving averages, see what the moving averages are doing here. And of course, moving averages are showing that we're below all the moving averages. We are very bearish here on Hyperliquid here, okay? And this 21 EMA, this white line, is going to act as resistance until it's no longer acting as resistance, okay? Every time we come up to this white line, we get rejected. Come up to the white line, rejected. Come up to the white line, rejected, okay? So right now that white line is sitting at $30.59. I already said that's like a value area low, and that's an area where we should consider taking profit on a short-term swing trade here on Hyperliquid. Hyperliquid needs to get back up to 30 bucks, and if it doesn't, you know, then this thing is probably on its way down to like 9 or 10 bucks here. Okay, because there's really no support for Hyperliquid below you. All right, let's see what we got going on here. Tan Dunn says Bitcoin long or short? I would still be looking for a long on Bitcoin all the way up until 84K, and then if we lose 84K, then Bitcoin's probably going to head on down to like 80K or less than 80K, and then that's when a short would start playing out for Bitcoin, right? But if you want to start shorting Bitcoin right now, I don't blame you. But I would probably look for longs. I think you can still long Bitcoin at 85K, 86K, and take it up to like 90K all over again for a short-term swing trade or a day trade on Bitcoin. All right, we gotta take a look at the ZBCN for D2 Miami. You haven't looked at ZBEC in a while here. What has ZBEC been up to? I highly doubt it's been anything good. I don't want to look at that. No. Let me try this again one more time. ZBEC on MEXC exchange. There we go. All right. Currently looking at ZBEC network. Trading at, we're just going to call this 24,526. ZBEC network, once again, is having trouble getting past the 21 EMA, just like Hyperliquid on the daily time frame. Right, that 21 EMA is right above you at 28,140. That's going to be an area where I would, you know, if I'm going to take a long on ZBEC, I'm going to try to take profit at 28.42. You know, 28,000. You know, whatever. You know, 28,000 points here. Okay, because so far every time we go up to the white line, we get rejected. Now we do get up there above it a little bit, like for a few days, but only for like less than a week. Then we come right back below the 21 EMA. So this 21 EMA, this white line, is a pretty important line to add to your charts for the moving averages. I would add it to your chart if you're a chartist, and just expect that, you know, you're gonna get rejected if you come right up to this white line. And if you don't, you might stay above it for a little bit, and then drop down. Okay. However, what is ZBEC doing here right now? We kind of see the possibility of, there could be a possibility for a higher low being formed right here compared to what we saw on November 21st. Don't go lower than that, right? If you're still trying to long ZBEC, I would probably put the stop loss below the low here on Friday, November 21st at 21,477. If not, you could go for a tighter stop loss where you just put it below the wick here on yesterday when we came down like 23,128. All right, just know that we could just come down and stop you out, and even come down to like as low as like 21,000, maybe 21,500 before making a higher low again and then going up to higher prices. So, you know, conservatively, I would put the stop loss below 21,400. And yeah, if we go lower than that, then that means we're probably still in the downtrend, and this thing is not done going down yet. And if it's not done going down yet, then let's see what the levels are below us here with the VRVP indicator. And the VRVP indicator is saying that 18,455 is an area to look out for, because this is an area that we were trading at sideways here back on April and May earlier this year. And then also back here in February, we were trading around those levels as well. The people that bought here that didn't sell, they might not sell until we actually go lower than these levels here at 18,000, okay? Because right now they're still in profit, but you know, if we get down to that level, they might be at break even. They might actually hit the sell button until we lose 18,000 is what I'm thinking here for ZBEC, at least for the short-term target here. So that's your downside target. That's where you could get some support for ZBEC, right? Is 18,000, okay? But let me try to make a bullish case here if I can. The bullish case is you got to get above the 21 EMA. If you get above the 21 EMA, then you're going to have to see if you can start making some higher highs here to justify that you might be in an uptrend. The last lower high here was right here on November 25th when we came up to like 36,300. I think get up to like 36,000 is going to put you above the 50-day moving average, and it's also going to put you above this put you above this candlewick high here on November 25th. So yeah, get up above 36,300 and we can possibly consider being a little bit more bullish here on ZBEC. But right now, the trend is down, okay? If we actually start going up, that's actually a counter trend rally, okay? And it's not going to be a counter trend rally until you start making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs again. Then you're no longer in this downtrend anymore, okay? But you got to do that in order to be bullish here on ZBEC. Get up to like 36,000, you can start being bullish again. Let's see what you guys are saying here in the chat. Thank you for following me here on TikTok. Appreciate that, guys. And my YouTube guys, YouTube, what are we doing here? There's only not that many of you guys here. All right, I might have to start moving my live stream software over to TikTok, and I might do like just like I'll put YouTube on my phone, and we might have to do it that way, because I actually do want to do another TikTok studio live stream. And yeah, I mean, if not many people watch it on YouTube, I might as well bring it over to TikTok. But I appreciate you guys hitting that like button and giving me your requests here. Let's see what's going on here. So we talked about Ethereum, and the Ethereum ETF is also getting sold off with Bitcoin, and that was based off of what I saw here on Twitter, where we saw here Bitcoin is getting sold off from the BlackRock ETF. About $277 million of Bitcoin got sold on December 16th, and $357 million got sold on December 15th. So where the hell is that Santa rally, if there is one? It's not showing up here on crypto. And then here we saw Ethereum, like we saw $139 million of Ethereum get sold off by BlackRock on Monday, and another $221 million gets sold off on Tuesday. Okay, so yeah, Bitcoin and Ethereum again sold off. And what is that doing to the Ethereum price here? Ethereum is currently at 2820. I think I identified 2750 as a level that we need to stay above for Ethereum, because we came down to like 2750 around December 2nd. Around this area was an area that I think Ethereum needs to stay above. And if I pulled the VRVP indicator, it's probably going to say the same thing. That 2750, yeah, like somewhere between like 2800 to like 2600. You got some high volume here on the VRVP indicator. You got the most volume here at 2500. If Ethereum's going to continue being bearish, then I think 2500 should prevent us from going any further down, because you had a lot of people buying and selling Ethereum back here in like May and June, where we went sideways for the longest time. So that's good to see that Ethereum does have a backstop. They have an area where it's going to be tough for us to chew through all that volume, because you have to get all these people here to give up on Ethereum before you drop down to lower prices. And if we do lose $2,500, then there's a little bit of volume here at $2,200, and then there's even more volume here at like $1,900 and $1,800. So one level at a time right now. Ethereum, believe it or not, is still making higher lows here in the daily time frame. You got a low here today at 2790, which is higher than 2716 on December 1st, which is also higher than the low here on November 21st when we went down to like 2620. So this is going to frustrate the crap out of the bears and the short sellers who are trying to bring Ethereum down to lower prices, because they're not able to right now, because you're making higher lows here on Ethereum. Okay. So if you're going to ask me, like, would I long or short Ethereum, I would look for a long, because we could still make a higher low here and then bounce up to higher prices. We got some economic data coming out tomorrow and Friday. We got the CPI inflation report coming out, and then we got unemployment claims. I think, depending upon how those numbers are, it could justify that the Federal Reserve lowers interest rates if inflation's coming down. If we're getting disinflation, then you know, that allows the Federal Reserve to cut interest rates some more and maybe do some more quantitative easing to help stabilize the markets here and help out the economy. But it could be a double-edged sword. We could get a report tomorrow that shows that inflation's still bad, and you know, then maybe that's the juice in the rocket fuel that the shorts need to try and attack Ethereum and take it down to like 2,500 bucks here. Okay, but so far you're making higher lows here, and you're near the lows for the day. I'd be looking for a long on Ethereum. I might even try to get into a long right now on Ethereum if I can. Let's see, Bitcoin's at 85,823. Sure, why not? Let's try to do a trade here if I can on Ethereum. I gotta figure out, you know, I know my stop loss is gonna probably be the low for today, or you know, maybe the low from December 1st here. Well, where could I take profit if Ethereum is gonna bounce up to higher prices? Well, you know, could Ethereum get up to the 200-day moving average at $3,500? I'm not sure if I could do that in a day or two. Maybe not on a day trade, but I know, you know, initially Ethereum could try to climb back up to this 21 EMA, which is where the price usually hangs out at for the most part. The 21 EMA kind of follows the price action pretty closely, and it's saying that Ethereum should be able to get back up to 3,066. So maybe I could try to target that for a trade to the upside here on Ethereum. I think I'm gonna try to do that, guys. We'll try to target 3,000. Let's see. Let me game plan this out. A long position. See how worth of a trade this is. If I put the stop loss below the lows from back here in December 1st at like 2,700. I'm risking about 4%. Try and get up to the 21 EMA at I'm risking 4% to get 8%. My risk reward ratio is 2.09. Not the greatest risk reward ratio. I want something like 3. But I could. What this tells me, I could probably take partial profit, and if I could ride the long for Ethereum, probably up to like maybe the highs here on December 10th. Let me pull the VRVP indicator, see if there's another level to look out for here. Looks like around 3,200. Yeah, I could probably target 3,200. So if I take this this long position up to $3,200. That's a 13% gain because of risk reward ratio of 3.26. So I could take partial profit at $3,000, and I could probably take the rest of my profit at $3,200 on an Ethereum long. So let's get into it here. Let's actually try to do a long here on Ethereum. So this is MEXC exchange. This is where I trade some of my futures. I have a futures account on MEXC exchange, and I'm looking to try to trade Ethereum right now for a long. I think I said in my Discord I wasn't gonna do any more trades here, but yeah, I feel like this is not that bad of a place to go long on Ethereum. With a 10x long, let's see, if I did a 10x long, I could make 130% if we get up to like 3,200 bucks. I could lose 40% of my investment if we actually go down to 2705. I think I might make the stop loss a little bit tighter than that. Yeah, but yeah, I'll probably lose like anywhere between 30 to 40% on the stop loss with 10x leverage. So now I'm wondering if I want to do 5x leverage. Hey, Hulk Smash. Yeah, I heard about that. I heard that Donald Trump is going to be making an announcement later on tonight around 9 p.m. Eastern time. I'm not sure what that announcement is. Some people think it's an economic announcement, but I think they would have done that this afternoon. You know, every time I remember seeing a president say that they're going to make an announcement late at night at like 8 or 9 p.m. It's to me, that's around the time where they would do military operations. I think Donald Trump is going to announce military operations in Venezuela are going to probably commence with some pretty severe consequences for Venezuela. And I think they're going to start attacking them tonight under the cover of darkness. They already done an FAA emergency order saying that no airplanes are allowed to fly over Venezuela because they already had like a couple of close calls and a couple of close call mid-air collisions. So they already shut down the airspace, and I think now they're actually gonna probably do something tonight. So I think it has something to do with Venezuela, but I could be totally wrong. Maybe it has something to do with Ukraine and Russia, or Cambodia and Thailand. Who knows? Maybe it might be economic news. I don't know. Yeah, that's what I think. I really do think there's going to be escalation tonight with Venezuela. I think that's why Donald Trump is making a big deal out of it. But let me try to game plan this along. I'm trying to get into Ethereum here, okay? Before the market starts running away from me. So on the 5-minute time frame, it looks like we're doing it right here, but what I don't like is I see some red candles showing up on the MACD. That could be temporary, especially if we start catching more bids here. But let's see. On the 15-minute time frame, looks like 27.89. I could put my stop loss below the low for today at 27.89 and not even bring it down to 2700. So that's another idea that I could do here. I am trying to target $3,000 on Ethereum as a partial take profit, and then I'm going to try to take more profit at 3,200 on this trade. So let's get into it. Let's do it. Let's try to do this 10x leverage here. I've been talking about it too much here. Let's see. Is that enough for me? I think so. Oh wait, I want to do a market order. Yeah, market order. Yeah, about around there. And then take profit. Take profit. We said we're gonna try to target 3,200. I'll give me $154 on the long. That'd be a nice. Let's see if I take it at $3,000. I only make $74 on the position. And then stop loss. Let's see, stop loss. Let's see, 27.80. I only lose $13 on the trade, but I think I can do a little bit more than that. I'm gonna move the stop loss to like 27.25. I'll lose $35 on the trade. I don't usually like losing more than $30 or $20 on a trade. So I'm gonna take it down to like 27.50. I think 27.50 sounds nice for now. And I'm gonna do take profit at 3,200. And what's the price? What's the price at? 28.14. All right. All right, let's go. We're in it. Take profit 3,200. Stop loss 27.50. And I'll be getting in at 28.14 roughly. Boom. I'm on an Ethereum long. DZ says crypto market is sensitive to news, and you said, oh dude, it was Hyperlane. Alright, so DZ, you said hyper, alright, and when you say hyper, like when I type that into TradingView here, right, hyper, and then I type in USD, it gives me, alright, so you're looking for Hyperlane. I thought you wanted hyper liquid. I even asked you before I even looked at it. I said, "You want to look at Hyperliquid?" So okay, my bad, my mistake. You did say Hyper, so we'll look at Hyper. Just curious, DZ, what's so great about Hyper? Sell me on Hyper. Why should I get into Hyper? Hyperlane here. I don't even know much about the project here. Looks like on Coinbase Exchange it's relatively brand new. Came out on December 10th. I don't know how much, I can't do much analysis on there. I have no no moving averages to go off of. All I got is a VRVP indicator here. And we're nose diving on Hyperlane here. Has it been on any other exchange besides Coinbase for a while here? Let me try maybe trying to find it on like Binance or MEXC. Is it on Binance or MEXC? Looks like it's on BitGet. Let me see if it. Oh wait, here we go. We got it on Binance. All right, so there we go. I got some more data to work with here. So I guess Coinbase is just useless to be looking at because Hyperlane hasn't really been trading on Coinbase long enough, but here on Binance Exchange, this thing has been trading since like April earlier this year. So I got my I got a lot of information to work with here. This I can work with. Okay. So I got the VRVP indicator here. Why don't we just stick with the VRVP indicator before I start looking at the moving averages? The VRVP indicator is showing that we have a point of control highest volume node here at 16 cents. That's probably going to be your upside target for now, where it's going to be tough for you to get past. It's probably going to be just as tough as Bitcoin trying to get past 96K, okay? Because that's where Bitcoin's point of control is sitting at right now, 96K. And you can see like we've been having a hard time just trying to get up to 96K. We've been having problems, you know, near 94, 95K. I don't even think we hit 95K on Bitcoin the past few weeks here. But anyways, going back to Hyper, I think Hyper is gonna have a tough go at it trying to get past 16 cents. So you know, I would take profit on any day trade or any short-term swing trade. I would try to take profit at 16.5 cents here. Just looking at the point of control on the VRVP indicator here. And then to the downside, if we start going down on Hyperlane and we continue on this downtrend that we're already in, we do have some volume here at 10.5 cents, and then we also got the value area low at 9 cents. Okay, 9 cents I think is what we were trading at back here in June 22nd. Around like it was actually 8.5 cents. Okay, so like those are your downside targets. This volume node here at 10.5, and then around like 9 and 8.5 are your downside targets if you want to enter a short on Hyperlane. And that's something that you might want to take into consideration. Like if you got spot bags in Hyperlane and you're, you know, just continuously losing money on your spot bags, you can try to regain some of that money back by entering shorts. It's like a hedge short on your position where you can make some money while the thing's going down. So that way it kind of compensates you for your losses that you're taking on your spot bags, and you don't have to sell your spot bags. You can continue holding on to your spot bags while you're in that short on Hyperlane. I don't know if that's the case with you, but just an idea to try to work with here. But anyways, let's get rid of the VRVP indicator and try to look at the moving averages now on Hyperlane. So obviously Hyperlane's in a downtrend, and you could use this 21 EMA, this white line, as your guidance to when to try to short Hyperlane if you're entering shorts, because this thing, I mean, as soon as you get up to the 21 EMA, you get rejected. You come up to 21 EMA, you get rejected. You got above it, not even for one day, because you did a candle close right below it and got rejected. You did the same thing here. You came above it for a little bit, only to end the day below it. Okay, so this 21 EMA is a problem for Hyperlane. However, it looks like we had a few days here where we actually stayed above it. Try to use it as support. Very unfortunate that you weren't able to actually bounce off of this and use it as support and go to higher prices, because here on Monday you just lost it again. You lost that 21 EMA. Now the 21 EMA is probably going to act as resistance for now, and that thing is sitting at 13.138 pennies right now. So if you're day trading it, I'm not sure why you would try to go long and take profit at that 21 EMA. You're probably not going to really get that much, you know, aiming for the 21 EMA. Yeah, I take that back. It's about 10%. That's not too bad. But then where would you put your stop loss? Below the low here on December 1st, where we came as low as like a 0.117 pennies here. You're risking 6% to try and get 10.6%, and your risk reward ratio is 1.6. Not really the best long there. You would have to either move your stop loss really tight, maybe near below the lows for today, and then it becomes a worthwhile trade to take if you're trying to long it. Or you could keep your stop loss, you know, right below the lows here on December 1st, but then you're gonna have to target something higher than 21 EMA to make it worthwhile. Maybe you target near the candlewick highs here from just a few days ago. But this thing got as high as like 17 cents and 0.168 pennies. So maybe you target like 16.5 pennies or 16 pennies. And then your stop loss is, you're going to lose 6% to try and get 28%, but your risk reward ratio is 4.29. That's not too bad of a trade to take. It's a worthwhile trade to take if you're going to do it that way. But yeah, you would have to target more than the 21 EMA. The 21 EMA is not going to get you enough. The only reason why you would want to target the 21 EMA is if you're going to do a leverage day trade and put your stop loss right below the lows for today. But we're near the lows for today. Like, the lows for today is literally the price right now, 0.1251 pennies here. Like, we're near the lows for today, and we could go lower. So, but anyways, I mean, that's hyper lane as best as I can for you here. Still in the downtrend. And we did say what? Looking at the VRVP indicator, you should be targeting the POC here at like 16 pennies. So I think 16 pennies is your target to the upside on Hyperlane. All right, let's see what you guys are saying here on TikTok. Don Miguel says, what about Bitcoin? We actually talked about Bitcoin earlier today. And then you bait, I believe Donald Trump's speech is it's at 9 p.m. Eastern time. Can somebody double check that for me? I mean, I could look it up on the internet right now, but I believe it's 9 p.m. Eastern time. You bait says, why am I longing? You're saying that you would short? I'm long in Ethereum because it's near the lows for the day, and it's still in an uptrend. Let's look at Ethereum on the chart real quick here, and then we'll take a look at Bitcoin. So Ethereum, even though it was a very violent sell-off today, you're still making a higher low. I mean, as long as you don't go lower than what you did today, you're making a higher low, because the last higher low was here on December 1st, when we went down to 27.16. We could still go down to like 27.17 and still make a higher low. And that would frustrate the crap out of the bears and short sellers. But it would still be an argument for the bulls, where we're making higher lows. And Bitcoin's also doing the same thing too. It's not just Ethereum. But we are making a higher low here on Ethereum. And I just think, like, if this is the worst that they could do here, and tomorrow ends up being a green candle, I want to take advantage of that. I want to be able to buy the lows for today. Probably the lowest point that I could get over the last few days here. And I want to be able to profit on Ethereum. And my stop loss is really tight. My stop loss is at like 27. I think I had the stop loss at 27.50 when I put it on MEXC exchange. So my stop loss is tight. I'm only going to lose 2%, and I'm trying to get, 13% here if I can. And the risk reward ratio is like 5.8. And with 10x leverage, I believe I'm using 10x leverage, but yeah, with 10x leverage, I'm only going to lose 20% on whatever I put into it. But I'll be able to make 130% and basically double whatever money I have in it. So, yeah, I am interested in taking that trade for a long. I would not try to short unless Ethereum, if Ethereum loses this level here at 27.16, then I might want to consider taking a short. And I'll definitely want to be shorting Ethereum if we lose this low here on Friday, November 21st, when we went down like 26.20. So I'd be looking for shorts just to continue. If the downtrend's gonna be continuing down for Ethereum, then yeah, I'd be looking for shorts. If we break this level, 26.20. But right now, I mean, we're still making higher lows here. So I prefer to be looking for shorts when we're at higher prices. Like, I would be trying to, short Ethereum at $3,200 or $3,300 when we get to this area. And I'm not looking for shorts over here. Why? What's the benefit? You're basically trying to do a breakout trade, and you're hoping that you actually break down below this uptrend that we're in right now. So Better opportunities is when you're at higher prices, right? You want to buy low, sell high. I don't want to sell low and then hope to sell lower. I'm sorry, buy low and then hope to buy back in higher. I don't know if that's going to play out. I'd rather sell high and buy back in lower. But, you know, on the charts here, you know, I want to be able to sell like somewhere around here. Not here. I want to sell here. Well, everybody's got their own strategies. If you're a breakout trader, then you're a breakout trader, if that's what you want to do. But here's the thing. Where would you put your stop loss if you're going to short sell Ethereum right now? Where would you put your stop loss? Like, let's flip this around. If I wanted to short Ethereum right here, would you put it above the 21 EMA? I mean, we could start rallying tomorrow. We could get good news about the CPI report, good news about unemployment claims, and the market starts rallying, and then you get stopped out. I could probably put the stop loss near the high for today, maybe. But now I'm risking 7%. I'm risking 7% to get what? How low do you think Ethereum's going to go? We got to get past all this volume here, all these people that traded sideways. The price of Ethereum was trading sideways in May and June here at $2,500. That means that my take profit for Ethereum is only be $2,500. And I'm risking 7% to try and get 11%. And my risk reward ratio is 1.5. That's why I'm not looking for a short right now. Look at that. That's a terrible risk reward ratio. You want a risk reward ratio of like at least 3. So I would have to bring the stop loss down further to like, I would have to put my stop loss at 29.25. I mean, Ethereum could do that later on tonight. Go up to like 29.25 and stop me out. It's not worth taking a short at these levels, is what I'm basically trying to tell you. But you can do whatever you want to do. It's your money. Don't let me stop you from shorting the bottom. Don't let me stop you from shorting the lows for today. If you want to short the lows, by all means, continue doing just that. You think Ethereum's going to go to $1,800 about a month from now? Maybe. But then if that's the case, I wouldn't be doing a 10x leverage short. I would probably be doing like maybe a 2x leverage short. But you have to remember, if you're shorting Ethereum right now and you expect to take profit on your short a month from now, you still got to pay funding fees. So you're going to be in that short for like 30 days or whatever, maybe. And you got to pay the exchange money just to be in that short. Because you can't just, when you're leverage trading, you're borrowing money. You don't get that money for free. You got to pay money every day just to be in that trade. So I would wait for Ethereum to maybe do one more bounce up to higher prices and then try to short. I wouldn't be shorting right now. But that's why I think a long looks better right now. That's why I'm in the long, because I can make the stop loss really tight, and I don't have to lose too much money if I'm wrong. All right, let's look at Bitcoin one more time here. Bitcoin on the daily time frame here is also making higher lows compared to what it did here on December 1st. Bitcoin went down as low as 83,800. I think if Bitcoin came down to 84K, it would still make a higher low, and it would justify you still being in an uptrend, and that would still frustrate the crap out of the bears and the short sellers out there. Even if we did go down to 84K. But right now, it seems like we're trying to hold the 85K level here. On Monday, we went down to 85,100, 85,250 on Tuesday, and today 85,267, and this is data coming off a Coinbase exchange here. I would be looking for a long on Bitcoin as well. I do have a long ready to go if Bitcoin does go down to 84K. I think that's the lowest price I could get into on Bitcoin and still have it play out. But if we lose 84K, and I got my stop loss on that that order at like 83,500, if we do go down to like 83,500, I think Bitcoin's gonna probably continue going down to the 80K level, and I just don't know if there's gonna be support here, because we didn't do like a double bottom here. We didn't like test it and then try to come back up again. Like 80K, I'm not sure if that's gonna hold. And if it doesn't hold, you know, like I said earlier in this live stream, we gotta look at the VRVP data here. But if, you know, if 80K doesn't hold, then a little bit of volume here at 76K. Okay. But Hulk Smash, are you still in the chat? I know some of you guys like to label me a bear or the big bad bear or something, because I've been saying some bearish things over the last couple of months. Only because I've been seeing bearish things over the last couple of months. But my target to the downside, Hulk Smash, if Bitcoin loses like 74K and 76K, it's going to be this point of control at 67K. Of course, maybe previous all-time high at 69K might be a level to look out for, but you got a lot of volume here. And this is data going all the way back to like March of last year, of 2024. You got a lot of people that bought Bitcoin at 67K over the past year and a half. And these people here, they're all in profit. Like, they're all like, oh wait, what are you guys sweating bullets for? What are you guys worried about? This is just another you know, correction in Bitcoin. Well, if this is not a correction, it turns into a crash, and it comes down to 67K, then these people are going to be sweating bullets here. Some of them might sell, some of them won't, because they'll just be at break even. But if we lose 67K, then then it becomes game over. Definitely game over if we lose 67K. Nobel wants to look at the Bitcoin USDT liquidation heat map. All right, we can take a look at that. We haven't looked at that in a while in my live streams here, but since you made that request, I can do that for you. Sure enough. Looking at the Bitcoin liquidation heat map, let me just refresh the page, make sure I got the most current data here. And this is data coming off of Binance Exchange, one of the biggest exchanges here. It gives you an idea as like where the liquidity levels might be here. And well, I'm using a 24-hour time frame here, but looks like there's some liquidation here at 85,500 and some more at 85,700. I believe we already chewed through that already. Let me try to see what this shows in the last 12 hours here. Yeah. Alright, so now there's some liquidation here at 84,600. About $20 million worth of longs to get liquidated at 20 million at 84,600. But you can see that there's some more leverage to the upside here. We got about the same amount of money, about $19 million of liquidation for shorts that could get liquidated at 87,450. And then there's even more here at 88K, 88,800. There's about $32 million of shorts that could get liquidated right now if the price of Bitcoin goes up to 88,800. And then even more liquidation here at 90K, 90,800. That's probably like shorts that got opened up during this morning. They probably entered their shorts, they put their stop losses or their liquidation levels somewhere around this area, and yeah, they've been getting paid shorting Bitcoin as of now. But yeah, Bitcoin creates some higher lows and some higher highs here, then they'll start coming for that liquidation above you. You got more liquidation above you than you got below you. So is that what you wanted to point out here, Nobel? That there's more liquidation right now to the upside than there is to the downside? That just further justifies why I decided to go long Ethereum. Because there is now a bunch of shorts that could get liquidated right now, and the market makers, they're gonna try to go for those liquidation levels if they can. There's more money to be made taking the price of Bitcoin up than it is to be taking it down any further. Thank you, Novell, for following me here on TikTok. And thank you, Daniel, for following me here on TikTok. And thank you, Mark, for following me here on TikTok. Getting a few more followers here. Appreciate that. All right. Let's just look at liquidation, the liquidation map altogether. I'm sorry. I want to see the liquidation levels. All right. So total liquidations over the last 24 hours. Wow, about $522 million have been liquidated. Most of that has been longs, although there have been shorts getting liquidated. So don't let it fool you that there's some shorts out there that are probably getting ridiculous with their stop losses and their leverage, and they're getting liquidated as well. And in the last 4 hours, the longs have still been getting liquidated, and not that many shorts are being liquidated. But maybe that might flip. In the last hour, yeah, the last hour, still the longs are getting liquidated here. Well, that's unfortunate. So that lets you know we had a bad day here for Bitcoin and crypto. Hulk Smash, you're playing like a video game while listening to me in the background? Is that what's going on? What game are you playing? Are you playing with Porky and them? League of Legends. Oh, okay, that's what LOL means. Okay, got it. I wasn't sure if you were saying laugh out loud. Nice. Nice. Yeah, so we got Bitcoin back at 86K now. That's good to see. And Ethereum at 28.15. That's kind of the same level that I got in at on my Ethereum long. Let's see what you guys are saying here on TikTok. TikTok, TikTok, hooray! You guys have any coins you want me to take a look at? All right, D2 Miami wants to look at XPR or XRP? Because right now I have it as XPR. Is that what you want me to look at? XPR? I mean, you did say it twice, XPR. All right, let's see. All right, we'll look at XPR. There's one of the requests here. All right, XPR currently trading 0.002 pennies. I'm just going to call that 26,600 for now. Down 1.6% today. You've done a round trip. You're back at the same prices that you were trading at here in June. Oh man, that's unfortunate. But I'm just zooming out here just to see what the VRVP is showing here. I got the data going all the way back to like August and July of 2024. And it could get really, really brutal and nasty if you lose the lows here in June. 0.0025 pennies. If you go down to 25,000 on XPR, I think that'll be a nice juicy short to be taking. And you can take it all the way down because there's not that much support. There might be a little bit here at 18,000. But then there's more support here at 15,500 and another high volume node here at 14,500. But you know, if this is just another low for the year, then we could end up coming right back up to 35,000 here on XPR. And that's actually right where this 21 EMA is hanging out at 34,000. I think 34,000, 35,000. I would, I mean, if your bias is bearish and you think this thing is going to drop down to lower levels. I would still wait for a bounce up to the 21 EMA. 21 EMA, if you can just come right back up to the 21 EMA, that'd be a good area to try to short, and then you take this thing down. Because look, let's just pretend like we're, you know, we were going to long this, right? And the chart was looking like this. You flip it upside down. Would you want to long at the top? No. We would probably wait for this to pull back to the moving averages and then try to long, right? So, with that being said, with this thing actually looking like this, I wouldn't short right now. Yeah, I mean, a short could play out, but don't be surprised if you get stopped out or if you get liquidated, okay? I would wait until the 21 EMA at like 34,000, 35,000 to try to short this thing. And you'll get paid even if this thing goes from that 21 EMA right back to the lows again. You'll get at least a little bit of money shorting it, starting from here than starting from here. But if you're shorting it right now, you're hoping to break out to the downside, like literally right now. But if we get good news tomorrow about anything, right, or even XPR in particular, then your short's gonna get blown out of the water. Hulk Smash is saying something about prediction markets here. Are you talking about prediction markets for what Trump is gonna say later on tonight? Is that what you're talking about? Daniel wants me to take a look at Avalanche, and then Jacob wants me to look at Solana. Now let me just finish up here on XPR. Yeah, so XPR, I think, you know, levels will be looking out for above you. You're looking to try to get back up to this point of control here, and this 21 EMA. They're like kind of like touching each other right now at like 34,000. I think that's your upside target for XPR right now. And then if you make it past like 36, 37,000. There's a little bit of volume here at 42,000. Could be your next target if you get past 37,000 here. Alright, let's take a look at Avalanche for Daniel, and then we'll take a look at Solana. So we got Avalanche currently trading at $11.83, down 4% today. I got the VRVP indicator, very useful. Looking for levels here. Let me try to zoom out, see how much more data I can get. Going back to like October and September of 2023. Let's see. Wow, Avalanche is actually below the value area. The majority of people that bought Avalanche have bought it at higher prices than where it's at right now. A lot of people are underwater on Avalanche over the basically last 2 years. Jeez. You got a value area low above you at $16.27. I would try to target that to the upside for Avalanche for a day trade or a swing trade. You'd be lucky if you can get up to $22 here, which is where that point of control, that blue line is at. And I say lucky because you could buy right now at $11.80, and that's almost like a double in price if Avalanche gets right back up to $22. But if it does get up to $22, expect a lot of people to click the sell button to get the hell out of Avalanche, because a good majority of them bought over the last couple of years, thinking that they probably bought the lows here in August of 2024, and they probably thought they were buying the lows here in April 2025. And all of that got invalidated when Avalanche lost, you know, $22 here in October of 2025. So everybody is now underwater on Avalanche. Yikes. But could be an opportunity for those who want to take the risk, and you know, it's be a very low risk trade. You probably put your stop loss really tight if you want to, not lose too much money. And if Avalanche can just get right back up to $16. I think that's like a 50% gain, right? Let me just measure that out real quick here. Maybe not 50%, but it's a 39% gain. That's decent, right? And if Avalanche actually gets up to that $22 level there, that's about an 87% gain. Not quite a double, but that's still nothing to sneeze at. And then, you know, just zooming in here on Avalanche. I mean, where would you put your stop loss? Below the lows for today? It could go lower. I mean, you're still in the downtrend on Avalanche. So I'm not sure where you would put the stop loss here. Let's see, is Avalanche getting any bullish divergence? Is there any hope out there with the RSI? Clearly making lower lows. However, are you making higher lows here? On the RSI. 2684 and 2683. Barely. It's just like, I don't even know if you could call it bullish divergence. It's very weak. It's not even divergence. It's just, but the other saving grace here is you are kind of making higher lows now. You know, you could try continue doing that, and eventually the price will get up to higher prices here. 21 EMA right above you, acting as resistance. You got to get above 1358 in order for this to start acting as support here. At 21 EMA is going to be a problem right above you. How's the MACD looking? Anything good news here? You had a MACD crossover to the upside on November 24th. But, I mean, it's just been weak. Like, you had buying pressure that came in, but it's just not strong. The buying pressure is not strong. And now you're actually getting a little bit of a selling pressure here. And you're getting a MACD crossover to the downside on Avalanche. So, Avalanche is looking pretty weak, in my opinion, from what I'm seeing on the charts here. I mean, it tried to put a you know, the good old college effort try here, but it just couldn't. You know, it tried making higher lows here on the MACD. I'm sorry, on the market cipher B indicator here, only for then you to get a red sell dot here last Thursday, and then the momentum goes to the downside. That's just unfortunate. It looks like the bulls were trying in the beginning of December to try to bottom out here on Avalanche, and then it just got sent down to lower levels the end of last week, going into the beginning of this week. That's unfortunate. They're trying to make the case, but it's not good enough. It's not strong enough. Shaheen wants to take a look at Ando. Okay. Mark says tomorrow's good news you think will be Japan, the Japanese central bank already priced in. I mean, I feel like that's like hopium. I think the good news would be that they actually don't raise rates, or they actually lower their interest rates as well. That would be a pleasant surprise, but a lot of people are expecting them to raise rates because they've been talking about trying to fight inflation over in Japan. Alright, we gotta move on to Solana. Solana broke my heart today because I actually tried to buy the lows for Solana at like $124, only for it to then go down to $122 here. But we'll do a little bit of a macro long-term analysis here on Solana. I still think it's worth taking a shot on a long here on Solana, especially at $122, because $122 is above the lows here on Friday, November 21st, when we went down to 121.47. We went down to 121.26. Oh my god. Oh my god. Hey. No bueno. Solana actually made a lower low. At least here on Coinbase Exchange, they made a lower low compared to what they did here on November 21st. What the hell do you do with that? That gets the bears and the short sellers excited that they're actually pushing the price down here on Solana, and they're actually making progress. Now, they only did a little bit of progress here. They only brought it down like maybe like 20 cents below where it was on November 21st, but still that gives them hopium that they can actually push the price down. That is not good for Solana. So put Solana in timeout or whatever, put them in the penalty box, because Solana is not making higher lows like Bitcoin and Ethereum is making right now. Solana is actually making lower lows on the daily time frame. But I mean, you can still try to, day trade, swing trade, and see if you can get Solana at these low prices and sell it at higher prices, right? You got the 21 EMA right above you at $133.93. That's probably what I would target for a day trade. You could buy it here at $122, sell it at $133. Let's see if we did that, right? And we entered right now at $122. I don't know. I don't think the risk reward ratio is gonna be good. But you put the stop loss. What? Where would you put the stop loss? If you were to get into Solana right now and on a day trade, where would you put the stop loss? Below the lows for today, right? Somewhere lower than that, right? Maybe like $121. Maybe $120 to make it safe, right? Because we could still come in and tap 121 and then go right back up again. But so here you could do a day trade on Solana with a long. Put your stop loss really tight at $120, $120.17. Try to target that 21 EMA, or basically the top for today, at $133.97. And your risk reward ratio is 4.82. You're risking 1.9% to try and get 9.5%. Still worth taking a long on Solana, as long as you keep the stop loss tight. You're gonna put your stop loss somewhere at 120 bucks here. That's if you like to play that game, okay? I actually do like playing that game, trying to, buy the lows for the day and see if I can sell the highs, or at least the high for the day. Maybe sell it, going into tomorrow. If we get like a reversal candle, that would play out very well. You do like 10x leverage, you're only gonna lose about 19%, and you'll get like 95%. And that could happen literally tomorrow. Like, we could get like a nice green candle that brings us right back up to the 21 EMA, and you got yourself a nice payday. 4.82 risk reward ratio. But if you're in it for a swing trade, right, you probably want to target higher prices than that. I think, it would be nice if Solana can get right back up to like $157, is where it was trading at here in the beginning of November. Then your reward ends up being about 30%. And if you still got your stop at 120 bucks, you're only risking 1.9% to try and get 30%. I just don't know if we're actually going to get back up to that level. More likely, you'll probably get back up to where you were in the beginning of December, at December 3rd and December 4th, when we had like 146 bucks. So targeting that, it's about 19% for a 1.9% loss here, a 2% loss. So I would still be looking for longs here on Solana. I think it's worth taking a shot on Solana. Jacob says we could bounce back to $130. And Jacob says not worth waiting that long for, yeah. Now I get it. I mean, you have to remember, you know, what is the overall trend of the market? What is the trend, right? What are we in a bull market or bear market? I've already said this. You know, you lose the 200-day moving average, you're in a bear market on that asset. Okay, especially when you're more than 20% below the all-time highs or the highs for the year. And you're also below 200-day moving average, you're in a bear market here on Solana, okay? Let's just call it what it is, right? And this is just the highs back here in September. This is not, I mean, we've been higher than that back here in January. But the trend is down, right? The trend is down. And anything that goes up is now a counter trend. It's a counter trend rally. But Solana hasn't really been rallying. It's, I mean, right now we're just kind of going flatline. The bears are going to call this a bear flag. They're going to say you are in a bear flag for Solana. And if this is a bear flag on Solana and it continues the trend to the downside, you're looking at a target about like $83, that blue number right there for Solana. Yikes. That's lower than the lows for the year. We've only been as low as $95 back here in April. This is saying that we can go lower than that, the way things are going here for Solana. Edible Zombies is in the chat. Good to see you, bro. No, I did not do XRP. I actually did XPR. And I had to double check, but like the guy did say XPR like twice. And I gotta look at Ondo too. I think I remember someone saying Ondo. Yeah, we gotta look at Ondo. And then look at XRP, I guess, after that. Thank you, Antonio, for liking the live here. Guys, don't forget to hit that like button here on TikTok. All you gotta do is double tap your screen on your phone. Send me a like. Appreciate that. And thank you guys for sending the gifts here. Thank you, Marco, for the rose. And for my YouTube guys, don't forget to hit that like button too. I think for tomorrow's live stream, I might do the YouTube stream on the iPhone, and I might do the TikTok stream on the computer. So it'll be a little bit different for tomorrow's live stream. Sunset, we already looked at Ethereum. Ethereum needs to hold above the levels that it's at right now, or else it might head down to like $2,500. And then upside targets for Ethereum is like 3,000 and 3,200. I'm actually in an Ethereum long right now, trying to target $3,200. See how's that long doing. I'm up a little bit on that Ethereum long. It's just a 10x long on Ethereum. I got in at 28.14. And I guess I can move the stop loss up a little bit. Let's try 27.75. I'll lose $16 if we actually go down to 27.75. But if we go up to $3,200, $3,200 on Ethereum, I'll be able to make $154. So there you go. I'm in a long on Ethereum for tonight. Edible Zombies, you're trying to do a short on XRP. Okay. Well, we gotta look at Ondo first, and then we'll look at XRP. Alright, so now we're looking at Ondo, currently trading at 39 cents. Geez, a lot of these altcoins look like they're ready to die. They look like they're ready to drop off a cliff right now if they haven't done so already. I'm looking at Ondo. This is data going all the way back to like January 2024. This is what Ondo looks like over the last 2 years. You're basically at the same price for Ondo that you could have bought it back in February 2024, like almost 2 years ago. Okay, Ondo. Not really helping us out here. If I turn on the VRVP indicator, let's see what the levels are to look out for. So on the VRVP indicator, you need to stay above where you're at, or else you're ready to go crashing all the way down to at least maybe 32 cents, but it could go further than that, down to 27 cents here on Ondo, where you're basically buying at the same level that people were buying in January of 2024, when Bitcoin got its ETF for the very first time, and all that good stuff. Positive catalysts. You'll be buying at the same price that those people were buying at in January 2024. Right now, Ondo is below its value area. The value area low, that white line right there, the value area high, that other white line. This is the whole value area you were trading at. Basically, you were range bound on Ondo from like March of 2024 all the way to November of 2025 here. And you're just ping-ponging back and forth between the range here. But now you're below that range. You are undervalued on Ondo when you're below the value area low. And this is just showing me that the majority of people, they all bought Ondo at higher prices. And almost everybody is now underwater on Ondo, except for the people that bought like right over here in January of about 2024. Like, those are the only people that are still in profit on Ondo. There's a lot of people that are hurting right now on Ondo. Well, if you're trying to get in this for the very first time here, that's not a bad price to get into. But I would probably put the stop loss really tight, all right? Because you could come down to that, 33 cents or even 27 cents, like I mentioned earlier. If you're in this for a day trade, for a long, I would just be targeting that 21 EMA, because if you come up to the 21 EMA, it looks like every time you come up to it, you get rejected. Rejected, rejected, rejected. Okay? So if we come back up to it again at 47 cents, I'm expecting another rejection at 47 cents, unless something different is going to happen this time, where Ondo actually goes past the 21 EMA, comes back down, uses it as support, and then bounces off to higher prices there. That hasn't happened yet, but if it does, then you could stay in your long on Ondo and see if this thing's gonna actually push up to higher prices. And if it does push up to higher prices, let's see. Looking at this VRVP, let me just zoom back out, get some more data here. There is some volume here at 61 cents, but then there's even more volume here at 66 cents. That's where the value area low is hanging out at on Ondo. So, and then then you got the 50-day moving average at 71 cents, but I think by the time the price catches up and meets up with the 50-day, it's probably going to cross right here at 66 cents, which is where the value area low is. So you'll have confluence with the 50-day moving average, and you'll have the value area low showing confluence at 66 cents. And I think 66 cents is where you should be targeting. Take swing trade, take profit target if Ondo actually goes back up to that level. That's a big if, though, because so far it's still been in a downtrend. You got to get above that 21 EMA. You got to start making higher lows, higher highs, higher lows, higher highs, and work your way up to 66 cents. So I don't know what's going to be the reason why we go up to higher prices. You would have thought like last week would have been a good reason when they lowered interest rates and did quantitative easing. That wasn't good enough for crypto, because look where we're at right now, or at least look where we're at with Ondo. So do they have to then say what, another interest rate cut just to get people excited again? I don't know. But you would have thought interest rate cuts and quantitative easing would have at least prevented the bleeding from bleeding down some more here. I think what we're seeing now is a little bit of tax loss harvesting. Some people are actually selling their Ondo and their crypto and their, in even the stock market. Some people are selling anything that has a loss, and their accountant is probably telling them, at least here in the United States, hey, do you have anything that you lost money on? Did you lose money on your crypto? Sell it so we can book that loss for this year, so you don't have to pay that much taxes going into next year in April. So there might be a little bit of that going on right now too, which is only going to make things worse for crypto if crypto keeps going down to lower prices here. Alright, let's move on from Ondo. We got to take a look at XRP. Alright. Kitty Kush says Bitcoin Cash is the play. Is that a statement or a request? What is Bitcoin Cash? I think I have that on my watch list. Is Bitcoin Cash even up today? Where is this thing? Bitcoin Cash is actually slightly up today. While all these other cryptos are in the red, Bitcoin Cash is actually in the green, just barely. Oh, that's funny. XRP currently trading at $1.86. What the hell happened? I could have sworn it was at like $2 earlier today, and yeah, we were at like maybe not $2, but we were at like $1.98 on XRP, and now we're at $1.86. And we're kind of like near the lows for today at $1.84. I get a little bit worried with XRP here because, you know, if I zoom out here and I keep that VRVP indicator on, what is it going to show? It's going to show you that we have some volume here at like $1.98 all the way down to like $1.80 now. But you start losing that $1.80 level, it'll come right down to $1.50 on XRP. And in quick short order, there's really not much support for XRP. You see, like we start losing this volume level here, we'll come right all the way down to $1.50, and that's the reason why you'll come down to $1.50 is because like back here in like November of 2024, you got some sideways trading action going on there. That's the only reason why it's going to stop the bleeding for XRP here. But if that doesn't stop the bleeding, then you could continue bleeding some more all the way down to this next high volume node here at $1.15. $1.15 is right where some people were trading at back here in November of 2024 still. Alright, you got some sideways trading action going on there. So those are your support levels, like $1, $1.13, $1.14, and between $1.40 and $1.50. So if you're looking to short, you know, XRP, you could probably take it down to like $1.50 in the near term here. But let's see if XRP starts catching some bids right now. You got a point of control. The highest volume node is sitting at 219, 220. I think that's where you should try to take your day trade long, take profit area. Should be about $2.19, $2.20. And I mean, you could also take some profit with that 21 EMAs at that white line at 206. Maybe you take partial profit at 206 and then take some more profit at 220. Call it a day. Call it a good day for swing trade, day trade. Let's see if we just game plan this out. Like I would be still looking for longs, even though it looks like we're about to break down. I would still be looking for longs on crypto. I could be completely wrong. If we get some bad news, I know Donald Trump is going to say something later on tonight. I think it has something to do with Venezuela. But if the market doesn't like what they hear from Donald Trump later on tonight, then, you know, maybe we do break down to lower prices, and maybe we do see XRP at $1.50 tomorrow. But yeah, let's see if I was to game plan this long here on XRP, just taking it up to like $2.20. That's about a 17% gain. And where would you put the stop loss? Below like the low on November 21st at $1.81. So you're risking 3% to try and get 17%. Your risk reward ratio is 5.28. I still think it's worth taking a long on XRP. For my day traders out there, I think it's worth taking a long on a lot of crypto. Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, XRP, heck, even AVAX and all the other ones. I think. And then you can put the stop loss if you're day trading it near the lows for today or the lows from yesterday or wherever you can find a good area to get a stop loss in at. And we might get some good news, some good economic news tomorrow out of the CPI report. And then Friday we might get some good news out of the PCE report. And these might be the lows for the week for my day traders out there. Orange Crypto sent a heart me. Thank you for sending me that. Appreciate that. What is the indicator on the right? The indicator on the right is the VRVP indicator. I always get this question every now and then on my live streams, but the VRVP indicator, you can find that here on TradingView. You type in the Visual Range Volume Profile indicator here. Now, I do believe you got to have a subscription to TradingView to have that indicator. Last time someone told me they weren't able to get that indicator because they got the free version of TradingView. However, if you do decide to sign up for TradingView so you can use this VRVP indicator, I do have here on TikTok, I got a discount code here where you can get $15 off on your TradingView subscription. And TradingView, they do have yearly subscriptions, but they have monthly subscriptions as well. So if you're not able to do the yearly subscription, or you're not fully convinced if you're ready to do a yearly subscription, you can do a monthly subscription on TradingView. And I also got that $15 discount here on my YouTube channel. Let me see if I can pull it up here. But here on YouTube, I got that discount for TradingView as well. And I also got the referral links here if you guys want to do MEXC or you know, Coinbase or Kraken. All you gotta do is message me or come find these links here for the discount and referral fees. You get the referral code, and you can get like a discount on your on whatever cryptocurrency exchange you're trading on, and you can also get a discount here on TradingView as well. But yeah, that VRVP indicator, I also did a video here on YouTube. You can see the VRVP indicator video here. It's like 16 minutes long. And then here on TikTok, I have it pinned to the top of the channel here. I got the VRVP indicator video right there. So don't forget to follow me. Click that follow button, and then go ahead and watch all these educational videos here. I got one on the VRVP indicator. I got another one here that's pinned for the Fibonacci indicator. And then I also got a video that just explains how to use charts in general. How to look at the MACD indicator, how to trade with it, stochastic RSI indicator, and the regular RSI. I got that video right there for the people who are new to trading and new to the charts. All right, thank you JHR for following me here on TikTok. You got the premium plan. Were you able to take advantage of the Black Friday sale? Because they had a Black Friday sale where you could get like, I think 60 or 80% off of the subscriptions on TradingView. That's like the best sale of the year. I don't know if they're gonna have they might do another sale, but it's probably not gonna be as good as that one. All right, so Tariq, what do you ask me about? You asked me about the VRVP indicator. So the VRVP indicator is just showing you all the people that bought and sold at various price points. So we'll just use this highest volume node here. You see a lot of people sold and bought XRP right where this blue line is at $2.20. So I'm expecting that to be an area where XRP will get rejected, maybe, or maybe it actually goes up to 220 and then trades sideways for a little bit before it then tries to go up to higher prices. or it can actually trade sideways for a little bit at 220 and then get rejected down to, like, you know, the value area low at like $1.87 right now. But yeah, this is showing you where all the people over the last, you know, going back to like April of 2025, it's showing you all the people that bought and sold. The greens are the buys and the red is the sell. And it gives you an idea like where those levels are at. And it gives you an idea like if a lot of people bought at $2.20 at XRP and XRP is at $1.86, if we go back up to 220, they'll be at break even. And what do you think some people are going to do? Some people are going to try to break even and get the hell out of XRP, right? If they're not like fully convinced about XRP going to higher prices, they're going to try to get out wherever they bought at. So this is showing you like where the people bought. You know, this is a good tool to use, in my opinion. And then when you set up the VRVP indicator, I mean, I talk about this in my tutorial video, but when you set it up, you want to make sure you have 240 row sizes. Let me just show you the settings here. When you first get the VRVP indicator, it's going to probably look like this. It's only going to have 24 rows, and it's going to look like kind of like these blocks here, which is still useful, but I think it's even better when you have 240 for your row size. You just add a 0 to that, and then the VRVP indicator looks like this, and then you can kind of see like where the gaps are at and get a better idea like where the high volume nodes are actually at. You want to know what my opinion is on Cardano on the 4-hour chart? We'll take a look at Cardano real quick here. Should be on my watch list, you know. And you said 4-hour chart. Okay. Let me get rid of the VRVP. The 4-hour chart. So Cardano was in this falling wedge, and that was an idea. Okay. You're no longer in that falling wedge. You broke out of it, but you haven't really broke out it in a vigorous fashion. You actually just went sideways to break out of it, so that's kind of still weak in my opinion. Another thing here with Cardano on the 4-hour chart, you got this red line here, this 200 moving average is acting as resistance. If Cardano actually goes up to higher prices, I would expect a rejection at 42 cents is where that red line's at. So don't expect Cardano to go higher than that unless it's actually going to be bullish here. And you can see that, yeah, this red line is going to be a problem here. We lost that 200 moving average on the 4-hour time frame back here, and when Bitcoin hit all-time highs in October 6th, you lost, you know, the 200 moving average on Cardano, and you definitely lost it here on October 10th, where we had that nasty sell-off. Bear flag. Come down, another bear flag, come down, and it seems as though like right now Cardano's just having a tough time trying to get past the 50 moving average on the 4-hour time frame. That green line right there keeps acting as resistance, and it looks like a majority of the moving averages are like right next to each other, sitting at like 41 and 42 cents. I think 41, 42 cents is going to be tough for Cardano to get up to. Yeah, if you get up to that area, you should try to click the sell button and de-risk a little bit. Cardano, let's see. Anything on the oscillators here? Any good news here? It says that you're bottoming out here on the 4-hour time frame on market cipher B, and money flow is starting to increase a little bit. And if it continues doing what it's doing, it's going to actually do a flip where you'll see a little bit of green here on Cardano. So maybe there might be a day or two from now, you might see some higher prices for Cardano. Maybe. I mean, like I said, I think we might have seen the lows for the week today on a lot of these cryptos, but I could be wrong. On the MACD, selling pressure is dying off here. That's good to see. You want to start seeing buying pressure. You want to see some green candles showing up here. And I see that it's trying to do a MACD crossover to the upside, but not really happening. But you want to see this blue line get above the orange line here and cross to the upside. And that'll probably be your signal on the 4-hour time frame to actually go long on Cardano. RSI looks okay, but not really. Actually, I take that back. RSI is at 25 here on Cardano. You're in oversold territory. You are oversold on the 4-hour time frame for Cardano, which, you know, just leads me to believe that it could bounce back. It could get a bounce off of these levels here. But damn, are we done going down yet? How much lower are these cryptocurrencies actually going to go? For Cardano, it could continue going down to like 32 cents here. Is where you were trading at back in October of last year. Yikes. And then even like during like the bear market from like the last cycle, I don't think Cardano it didn't go any lower than 25 cents here. 23 cents actually. December 2022. Yikes, jeez. Kind of feel bad for some of the Cardano spot holders here. I feel bad for a lot of altcoin crypto holders out there. It's just been a bad year, 2025. I feel like 2025 was like the bear market for altcoins. And you know, maybe Bitcoin might be going into its own bear market, but I feel like the altcoins went into the bear market at the end of 2024. And this entire year has just been one bad year of bear market for a lot of altcoins out there. Even though there were some that did alright, like Solana made a new all-time high, and Ethereum made a new all-time high, and XRP I think it made a new all-time high, depending upon what exchange you're looking at. But that's it, and that's, in my opinion, that's sad. That those were like the only coins that were able to make all-time highs in 2025. Everything else has been selling off and not making all-time highs. I think you could say like Sui made an all-time high in January of this year, but that's like around the same time that Solana made an all-time high as well. And then it's been a crappy market to be in crypto. Do I see the altcoins going lower? I mean, if they keep doing what they're doing, yeah. Here's what I'm worried about on another chart that could be a problem for the altcoins, and that's USDT dominance. We haven't looked at this on my live streams in a while, but right now USDT dominance, this is Tether dominance, is at 6.46%. It's like, I mean, look at this. If this was like a crypto, you'd be like, oh my god, this thing is bullish, right? But we don't want Tether to be bullish. This is, people are selling their altcoins and selling their Bitcoin to go into Tether because they are afraid. This is showing me that people are scared right now. And this is like almost as high as what you saw back here in like August of 2024 when we had the Japan carry trade fear in the market. We had August 5th of 2024. I don't know if you guys remember that, or if you guys were around or in crypto at the time. But we had the Japan carry trade, which could actually be an issue later on Friday this week, where Japan raises interest rates and it causes the markets to freak out, because that's where all the cheap money is coming from for a lot of people to be in crypto and be in these trades here. Because Japan has like interest rates as low as like, I think 0.5%, 0.5%, and they might raise it to like 0.75%, and that's going to be a problem for some people and cause some trouble in the markets if they do that. Okay, so we're at the same fear levels as far as like Tether goes here. We're at the same levels as we were back here in August of 2024 when people were scared and the markets got rocked. I think at the time Bitcoin was at like 70k and it dropped down to like 60k in like one day, and then it continued going down to like 50k when that Japan carry trade became a problem here. We could be having the same thing going on. I think that's what people are worried about right now. And also Tether dominance is higher than where we were in April 7th of 2025, when we remember, guys, we were worried about Donald Trump and the tariffs being an issue and causing havoc in the economy, and then Donald Trump did a pause on tariffs, and then that's when the markets recovered. We actually have more people in Tether now than when people were scared in April earlier this year. Beyond Illusion says buy the fear. Yeah, that's why I think it's still worth taking along. You know, maybe on Friday, Japan says, actually, we're not going to raise interest rates. We're just going to keep them where they're at. And that would be a very welcome relief, and that could cause a stock market rally on Friday and a cryptocurrency rally on Friday. That's why I'm not really interested in taking shorts right now, because you just don't know. You could easily get stopped out if that happens. So yeah, this is what I'm worried about with Tether dominance creeping up. And if it just continues creeping up and we get a breakout to the upside, then that's going to destroy your altcoins, guys. I'm afraid your altcoins, you know, they might go lower than where they are right now. And for those who are like, oh my god, my altcoin is down 90%, it can't go down another 90%. Yeah, it can. These altcoins can do that. I've had the same thing happen to me where last year I bought what was it? AIT protocol? Because AIT protocol, let's just see if I can even find it on the chart here. AIT USD. That's if it's still listed on any of these damn exchanges. I don't even know if it is. I think it got delisted on all the exchanges, to be honest. That's how bad it's been for this thing. Yeah, I can't really find it right now. I don't know if I want to do that to you guys, try to dig for this. But long story short, AIT protocol was trading at like $1 in March of 2024. And then it dropped down to like 10 cents in December of 2024. So it already dropped down 90%. I actually bought it at 6 cents. Alright, in like December of 2024. And AIT protocol continued dropping all the way down to like 1 penny and then a half a penny. So when it went from like, you know, I bought it at 6 pennies down to like a half a penny, that was already another 90% drop. So I thought I caught the drop at 90%, and this thing went down another 90%. And that's what could happen to some of your altcoins here. Just giving you fair warning that it has happened to me already. And that happened to me when, like, you know, Bitcoin was making new all-time highs this year, and AIT protocol still couldn't catch a break. So imagine if Bitcoin goes down to like 70 or 60K, what that's going to do to some of these altcoins here. Very scary, huh? Could be scary. Ava Medina says he's glad he sold all his render. I think the end of the year is usually when everybody starts reassessing their game plans here. Hopefully we get some good news tomorrow with the inflation report, and then same thing with Thursday inflation report. Oh wait, no, today. What is today? Today's Wednesday, right? Yeah. So hopefully we get some good news tomorrow with the inflation report for the CPI report, and then Friday we have another inflation report with the PCE report, and then we got the Bank of Japan to worry about. We need all good things from tomorrow and Friday to save the market and possibly get that Santa rally that people keep talking about, but I just don't know if it's going to happen yet. But, you know, we could get buried too. It could be bad news tomorrow and bad news on Friday, and that could just cause this Tether dominance to break out to the upside, and altcoins and crypto to just break down to the downside. But since I've been live streaming, Bitcoin's been climbing up. So like I said, I still think it's worth taking along for the day traders out here, because I think we've already seen the worst of the worst. It seems as though like when Wall Street opens up for business, that's when the selling happens, and then when they close down for business, which is like when I start my live stream, that's when the selling kind of dies down a little bit for us to get a little bit of rally. We've been rallying like every night now after Wall Street goes home for the day. So maybe we might see the same thing happen tonight. DZ says, you're glad you could buy stocks on Coinbase? Coinbase has stocks now. I've seen some of these cryptocurrency exchanges are now getting involved in the stock market. And I think these cryptocurrency exchanges are going to eventually become banks themselves. They're kind of acting like banks. But they still have to get their banking license, at least here in the United States, in order for them to operate as banks. But I think we'll start seeing that, where crypto and stocks are just going to be on the same exchanges. And you'll start seeing like even like more stockbrokers. We already know Robinhood's involved, but you'll start seeing like other brokers, I believe, like Charles Schwab and some of the other ones that are not really involved in crypto. They'll start probably getting more involved in crypto. And maybe you'll start seeing like, you know, SUI and AVAX and XRP start showing up on people's stock market portfolios on their brokerage accounts. Yeah, Gren. Yeah, that happened this morning. Like we had a little pump up here this morning, only for it to get sent right back down again when Wall Street was open for business. I think Wall Street has been the problem. And I already talked about this earlier on the live stream that BlackRock has been selling Bitcoin. Right? They sold $210 million of Bitcoin yesterday. Who knows how much they sold today? They probably did the same thing today. And then BlackRock also sold $200 million of Ethereum yesterday, and that was after they sold $139 million of Ethereum on Monday. So, you know, a lot of people were like touting these ETFs. I was like, oh my God, these guys are gonna just continue buying Bitcoin and Ethereum. Really? No, it doesn't work like that. They can sell just as easily as they can buy Bitcoin and Ethereum. I mean, some people saw that when the Bitcoin ETF first came out, and we saw like Grayscale just constantly sell Bitcoin as soon as they started opening up for business with the ETF. And that kind of threw some people in for a loop. But some people kind of expected it, for the ones that have been, you know, following the industry for a while. But yeah, these ETFs, they can sell just as easy as they can buy. Now, they have been buying all throughout the last couple of years since they've been around, but now they can sell just as easily as they were buying. And some people are like, oh, hey, you know, Bitcoin ETFs, you know, large institutional players, companies buying Bitcoin. There's also retail investors in those ETFs as well. Like I can go out and buy the Bitcoin ETF on BlackRock on my broker. You can do that too. There are people who are just like me and you, who are now trying to cash out on their crypto, and they're clicking the sell button. And when they click the sell button, that forces BlackRock to have to sell their Bitcoin. And they take their Bitcoin, they bring it over to Coinbase as their custodian, and then Coinbase has to sell that Bitcoin that they get from BlackRock, because the retail investors are selling the Bitcoin on the Bitcoin ETF. Good to see you, Steve. Good to see you here. I was about to end the live stream soon. We've been live for about a couple of hours now. You say that you're stopping in to check in and give support. Thank you, I appreciate that. The best way to support me is hitting that like button if you haven't done so already. And then I guess the next best thing you could do is share the video with your friends and family. Let them know I got, you know, some pretty good TA here. If you don't think I got good TA, then I don't know. I'm not sure why you're here. But if you think this is good technical analysis and looking at the charts here, then by all means try to share it with your friends and family. Try to get some more people here to show up on the live streams here. I appreciate that. Orange Crypto says, which VRVP do I use? I just use the Visual Range Volume Profile. I know there's like another one called the Fixed Range Volume Profile. I don't really use that one. but I might start using it. But I just like the VRVP because it's so like it's so easy to use once you set it up, and I can just adjust it to whatever time frame I'm in, like whether I'm in the daily time frame or the 4-hour or even the 15-minute. It will just adjust to whatever time frame I'm in, and then I can always zoom out and get some more data if I want to, and it will readjust the VRVP indicator. Yeah, I feel like it's a lot faster for me to do that. A lot faster, easier, and convenient for me to do that than to actually do the fixed range volume profile. Thank you, Mark, for saying that my TA is strong. I learned from some other great guys about the VRVP indicator. One guy I got to give a shout out to. I feel like I don't give a shout out, but I got to show you another good crypto YouTuber here, and that's Frankie Candles. Okay, he's really big on the VRVP indicator. He's got about 82,000 subscribers here on YouTube, and he has a lot of good videos to watch here. Let me get into his. Where's his channel? One of his playlists. He has like a playlist for like beginners. You got let's see what the playlist here. But his beginner series is a really good place to get started on TA and crypto here. But yeah, that's Frankie right there. I would suggest you guys take a look at his channel and learn more about some good technical analysis. I think Frankie is one of the best, if not the best, trader in crypto, with one of the biggest followings out there. So I'm gonna have to tip my hat off to Frankie Candles. He's one of the best TA guys out there, in my opinion. And I learned a lot about the VRVP indicator from him. I learned some from other YouTubers out there as well. Okay, but Frankie Candles goes into detail, and he's a very humble guy. And not big of an ego, even though he probably could have a big ego if he wanted to. But I don't get any of that. He's a really great guy. I would love to, go to the bar and have a drink with him. He's that cool of a guy. Okay, but yeah, that's one crypto YouTuber I think is worth learning about, especially if you're interested in the VRVP indicator. But then you can also look at my video on TikTok as well and YouTube, where I go over the VRVP indicator as best as I can, showing you guys how to set it up and then how I trade with it. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this live stream. I went live for about 2 hours. I'm going to try to do some other things here, but I appreciate you guys coming into the live stream, hitting that like button, and subscribing and following if you're new to the channel. I appreciate that as well. And we'll just have to do this again tomorrow. Tomorrow I'm going to try to do the setup where I'm going to try to do TikTok on the computer, and then I'll have YouTube live on my phone. So you might get the vertical setup here on YouTube, but hey, it's only going to be for like one day. And then I'll go back to the original setup here where I do YouTube on the computer and I do TikTok on the phone. Okay, but I figure I do that for my my TikTok guys for tomorrow. Okay, you guys can see a little bit better of a setup here for the live stream, and I don't have to constantly keep moving the phone here, so you can kind of see what I'm looking at on the charts. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for today. I'll see you tomorrow. Take care. Good luck trading and investing and whatever asset you decide to get into. Take care, guys.